Today we're going to talk about one of the most iconic games from the past, with Full Throttle Remastered, new edition of the famous game created by Tim Schafer. I played a lot with this game when I was a child. After several years, I realize now that, taking into account Day of the Tentacle and Grim Fandango, Full Throttle is probably the less enchanting among the games produced by Schafer for LucasArts. This is not really because of some major flaws, but mostly because while the other two are without doubt two masterpieces, Full Throttle is just a good game. Ben is the main protagonist here. He is a biker, he is tough, and he is pissed. The game takes place in some sort of post-apocalyptic future where people run around in hovercrafts. There is still someone who relies on the asphalt though, and Ben is of course one of them. The story begins when he and his club are accused of a crime they did not commit. We will have to uncover the truth and save the club by solving puzzles and riding around with our trusted bike. The plot is really quite mediocre, not really entertaining. The characters themselves are not very developed, only the two main protagonists are okay and a couple of NPCs. Pretty soon it will become obvious that Full Throttle is very different from most of Schafer and Gilbert's games. There is an almost total lack of irony here, and irony is a clear, distinctive trait of some of the most beautiful games produced by LucasArts. Ben is a tough guy. He might end up saying or doing something funny every now and then, and there are a few absurd moments, but they are sporadic. Full Throttle is pretty much a serious game. The quality of the puzzles is good most of the times. There are a few issues though. One of the most annoying things with this game is that several times we will not know how much we can move around. This happens mostly while in the biggest areas, where alternative paths and exits are not highlighted in any way, and the design itself does not help much in giving hints on where we can actually go. Moving the mouse cursor around will become a wise habit. The original game managed to age very well. This remastered edition refreshes the visuals, adding the full support for wide screens. As with the previous Double Fine remasters, we will be able to switch from the original to the new visuals at any time just by pressing a button. The designers did a great job at enriching the range of colors, still remaining faithful to the original tones. The interface has been refreshed as well. Gamepads are now supported, and we will be able to highlight every object we can interact with in any scenery. There are a few bugs, but it will be an helpful feature for some players. Both the soundtrack and the voices are now excellent, way better than in the original. Our ears will be pleased to hear several new sounds thanks to the higher fidelity of this remaster. Electric guitar and drums will be a way heavier now, making the soundtrack really shine. Full Throttle Remastered will be a wise purchase for Tim Schafer's fans or for whoever is just looking for a solid point-and-click adventure. It is not as good as Day of the Tentacle or Grim Fandango, but it is a very nice game indeed, with well-designed puzzles most of the times. This remaster did a great job with the audio department, thanks both to the voices and to the great soundtrack that is now able to delve into metal with more powerful drums and electric guitar. This is a fine piece of history of video games. If you were too young when it first released, do not miss this remaster.